Good morning, everyone. For the record, I'm Jamie Titcomb, Town Manager, and I'm calling to order a public administrative hearing to review the application submitted by Frank and Lisa Melly at 33 Hibiscus Way, Ocean Ridge, Florida, 33435. And they're requesting an administrative variance from the provisions of the Land Development Code, Chapter 64, Zoning, Article 1, District Regulations, Section 64-1, RSC and RSF, Single Family Residential District, Paragraph J, RSF, Single Family Residential Property Development Regulations, Subparagraph 2E, minimum 25-foot waterway setbacks, and Chapter 63, General Administrative Provisions, Article 7, Roman numeral 7, non-conforming and grandfathered uses. Section 63-117, grandfathered structures, paragraph D, sub 1, alteration, extension, enlargement, or expansion to permit the construction of a 16-foot by 4'6" wide roof overhang that would extend 4 feet 6 inches into the 25-foot rear waterway setback area. Also altering a grandfathered structure located at the above described address or legally described as Lot 19, Ocean Ridge Beach Subdivision. Exact legal description is in our clerk's office. For the benefit of members of our audience, I would just state, for familiarity standpoint, this property was submitted with a design that proposed to extend a covered porch a few extra feet on the south side of the house facing the waterway. Initially, this submitted plan was received by the town and approved, and then it was discovered that the intrusion of the overhang of the roof was creating a variance situation for the property, and it was appealed to the town to look into the code and see if the proposed structure as presented could be allowed. Specifically referencing our town code 63-117, subchapter D, subchapter 1, subchapter A. The threshold of this request and this the premise for this administrative hearing is based upon the fact that the intrusion of the proposed covered porch overhang is well within a 5% threshold to be decided at an administrative level, essentially indicating that there's no major impact. With that said, I do have a member of the public here. Would you like to be here to speak, Nancy?
Yes.
Please. Certainly.
Nancy Hogan, 37 Hibiscus Way, and I am the homeowner right next door to this property. And I did have a conversation with you and with our clerk, who's going to retire today. So I did get information, and I am here to just clarify on record that this is not total of the house as it's being rehabbed, and it's very important to me to get that on record because I've been living in the house on the other side for 10 years. I came in here to hearings and fought, and there was all kinds of things done to the property without proper permits and or inspections. And so in this case, I just wanted on record that we had discussed, and it was a meeting with you and our engineer, walked the property, and there are various water issues. And again, we had a heavy rain, so they're all there. The homeowner has talked to us, and he's thinking through what it is. heard anything was going on. And my God, it's been going at least 6 months with heavy equipment and people in there doing all kinds of work. So it fell down on my other side of the house, and I expect the town to hold up their part and use the tools that they have legally to make sure everything is done the way it should be. It's a nice couple. We're in dialogue with them. I'm expecting the best, but the town has to be a strong player also.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I, too, am peripherally aware that, at least what you're claiming, that several things have gone on the property over time. And it appears in some cases permits were pulled for specific projects, and yet other things may have been done unrelated to those permits. And as we discussed in our private, or in our pre-meeting when you came in to see me, there appears to be a number of issues on this property, of which, from a technical standpoint, are unrelated to this particular request, but I'm also sympathetic to what you're talking about in terms of the town making sure that everything is in proper order before the green light to do whatever they need to do is granted. I believe that there's, in conjunction with this particular request, there's also an agreement to remove a piece of trellis infrastructure that is, I believe, borders your side of the property, Nancy, and I believe that's been agreed to. As far as the drainage issues that you brought up, I don't want to say it's unrelated, but it is its own matter that the town engineer and the town will have to look at to make sure that's all compliant. What I propose to do today is take the public testimony and the paperwork and the variable conditions into consideration, and I would like to research the particular statement that you mentioned about some of the work that may or may not have been done under permit and the status of that. But before I essentially state my direction on that, what I would suggest in terms of the context for today's meeting is that the specific administrative variance that the applicant is asking for, from a technical definition, is well within the code section that I referenced. In fact, it's written specifically for such an occasion. I'm inclined to approve that, especially because of the genesis of it arriving to our door with initial permissions. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to defer making a final administrative decision on this until I can research the additional work and permits that the town has on record to be sure that there's nothing drastically out of place. And consequently, I would say I will render a written opinion on this on Monday. Monday being February 1st for the clerk's record there. Again, I'll just conclude this meeting by stating that the specific request that has been asked for under administrative consideration is within the code's metrics for being allowable under the circumstances presented. I will cross-reference the public testimony that we received today. Thank you, Nancy, for your input, and render a final opinion on Monday. So if anybody else has any commentary, or I see no other member of the public, and the applicant is not here for the record, or an applicant representative, So what I will do is write a brief or a memo on this particular file, submit that on Monday, and Nancy, for your communication purposes, I'll make sure you know what that says and get a copy for you. And also, if outside of the context of this meeting, if there's any more specifics about work or permits or things that have been done that you want us to look into, I'm going to look into the total package for the property and just ascertain that there's nothing glaring that would be a reason not to move forward on this particular administrative request, and just doing an extra abundance of due diligence and caution before we move forward. So for the record and for the applicant's case, we'll give them a decision on Monday. Okay, with that, at 9:18 a.m. on Friday, January 29th, I call to adjourn this administrative hearing. Thank you.